Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, November 13, 2021, Saturday. It's now early morning, around 4:25, and topic is quality and safety. Title is known to you that contains many subtopics, and this must be clear every time. It's related to designs and construction. It's related to contracts, and most important among all are procedures of communication and coordination, which are very important, very significant for purpose of reaching information to everybody, because missing information can lead to bad quality, can lead to missing activities. मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज नवंबर 13, 2021, शनिवार सुबह सुबह, अर्ली मॉर्निंग। वही टॉपिक, गुणवत्ता, सेफ्टी और किस तरह से काम किया जाए फील्ड में, इंजीनियरिंग में। इंजीनियरिंग जो लाइफ का हिस्सा है और लाइफ जो इंजीनियरिंग के द्वारा चलती है, फिजिकल लाइफ, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग ऑफ स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। हम लोग काम करते हैं, सर्टिफिकेट लेते हैं, अपनी कॉम्पिटेंसी को, अपनी विश्वसनीयता को बनाते हैं, अपने स्टैंडर्ड्स को बनाते हैं। ये प्रमाण पत्र जो हम लेते हैं, ऑल दिस सर्टिफिकेट्स दैट वी अचीव बाय एजुकेशन or whatever way by professional experience, this indicate that person or whoever is holder of these certificates is a competent one. वो कॉम्पिटेंट है, काम करके देगा, काम जानता है, ऐसा समझा जाता है। लेकिन सर्टिफिकेट आंसर नहीं है। You know that certificate is not conclusive answer. Yes, it is indicative answer. It gives an understanding, it gives a presumption person knows this. एक ऐसा स्टेटमेंट देता है, किसी के बारे में भी अनाउंसमेंट देता है, आप कह सकते हैं। Actually, certificate, competency certificate and educational certificates are not more than announcement, public announcement. You know that. What is public announcement? घोषणा करता है सार्वजनिक रूप से कोई भी प्रमाण पत्र जो सरकारी द्वारा या यूनिवर्सिटी द्वारा या कॉलेज द्वारा या किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन द्वारा दिया जाए कि ये आदमी का टाइटल ये है, ये आदमी की एजुकेशन ये है, ये आदमी इतना कॉम्पिटेंसी रखता है, ग्रेजुएट है, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट है, डॉक्टर है, या कोई प्रोफेशनल है, व्यावसायिक है। What does it tell? It tells that this person is competent one. That's all. This person can work in this field. That's all. It doesn't give more than that. This person may be fresh, this person may be experienced, this person may be professional, or you can say specialist. These certificates tell that one, not more than that. These certificates never guarantee a successful one from work point of view, from quality point of view, from safety point of view, from reliability point of view. ये व्यक्ति कैसा काम करेगा, अच्छा करेगा या बुरा करेगा, गुणवत्ता देगा या नहीं देगा, सेफ्टी देगा या नहीं देगा, आगे बढ़ाएगा या आपको पीछे हटाएगा, आपकी पब्लिक रेपुटेशन कमवाएगा या घटवाएगा, ये सब ये नहीं देता। कौन देगा फिर से? प्रश्न उठता है, कौन देगा? क्वेश्चन अराइजेस, हु शैल गिव यू गारंटी ऑफ दिस पर्सन्स परफॉर्मेंस? माय आंसर इज ओनली पर्सन कैन आंसर, नो वन कैन आंसर, or you can answer on behalf of that person if you know that person, how that person works, how that person performs. इस प्रश्न का कि ये आदमी कैसा काम करेगा, ये प्रोफेशनल, ये व्यावसायिक, ये इंजीनियर, ये डॉक्टर, ख़ास तौर से हम दोनों को कह रहे हैं। मैं बाकी को नहीं बीच में ला रहा, क्योंकि उनके प्रोफेशनल डिपेंडेंट हैं। अगर आप किसी लॉयर का, वकील का प्रोफेशन देखें तो वो डायरेक्ट नहीं है, क्योंकि इन्फॉर्मेशन उसको मिलनी है, जैसे ही क्लाइंट इन्फॉर्मेशन देगा उसी के बेस पे वो केस बनाएगा। लॉयर, एन एडवोकेट, ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, or you can say all other professionals who are not directly related to people of this country or every country. Those are different types of profession. But directly involvement, here are two professions, one is engineering and one is medical science. Both these professions are directly involved everybody is involved with them directly. अगर आप पेशेंट हैं, बीमार हैं, आप सीधा जाएंगे डॉक्टर के पास और अपना इलाज कराएंगे। आप किसी के थ्रू इन्फॉर्मेशन लेके नहीं जाएंगे, देखिए जी इस इन्फॉर्मेशन के बेस पे आप इलाज कर दीजिए, ऐसा नहीं होता है ना। If you are a patient, you want to have treatment, and you have to, because you are a patient, you are feeling pain, you have to go to doctor, and doctor will examine you and give you medicine or treat you. Same way, if you have a problem, you want to make something, you want to develop something, you have a project to do something, you have to produce something, you have to visit or you have to meet some engineer and discuss with him your project. Whatever project you have, government you are, private person you are, whoever you are, international person you are. And you can say you can start your project. You may say starting point, commencement point lies with you. You and your point lies with that person to whom you visit, that professional. आपका काम शुरुआत से, स्टार्टिंग से, इनिशिएटिव से डॉक्टर करता है इलाज करने के लिए, इंजीनियर करता है आपकी विकास करने के लिए। बाकी वकील है, लॉयर्स हैं, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हैं, टीचर्स हैं, कोई और हैं, उनका प्रोफेशन है, अच्छी तरह से है, सुपर है, लेकिन ओरिजिनल रूप से वो वहाँ नहीं होते, वो डिपेंडेंसी रूप से होते हैं। अगर हमारे काम में डिस्प्यूट हो जाता है, इफ़ आई वी हैव एन इंजीनियर, माई क्लाइंट इज़ माई ऑनर, देयर इज अ डिस्प्यूट बिटवीन ऑनर एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, देन यू गो टू आर्बिट्रेशन or you go to court. Whatever you do is up to you. It depends on contract. In whatever field it is, purchase or it is sale or it is work, means already material is available. Already material is available. Prosecution, or you can say disputing material is available. Reasons are available. Arbitrator, I'm sorry, not arbitrator, rather than I should say arbitrator comes later on. Whoever counsels you, some engineer or some advocate or whoever you consult, that person shall scrutinize your information which is either available on papers, or you explain to that person, this is my problem, this is my claim. So there is already available information which nobody can change, neither you can change nor your counsel can change. You have to depend on that information. Means it is not original work, it is work dependent on already done work. So that is what I say. It may be lawyer, advocate, it may be judge, it may be arbitrator, it may be whosoever. They depend on something already done and they cannot do anything original. But if you see other professions as well, chartered accountant for example, it depends on information available, transactions available. Same way all other professions are second level. There are only two professions in the world. One is medical science and one is engineering science. Both started ab initio. Of course later on these go on interacting with each other and that's different. But origin lies there. That's why my approach is always different. I want to explain to people what is fact and what's not fact. कोई भी काम करना है, उस दुनिया में दो ही प्रोफेशन हैं, दो ही व्यक्ति हैं, हम कह सकते हैं चिकित्सा विज्ञान और अभियांत्रिकी। इन दोनों में वर्क ओरिजिनल से शुरू होता है। इसमें ये कहना कि पहले काम किया हुआ था ऐसा नहीं है। हाँ, इतना आवश्यक है, इंजीनियरिंग में मटेरियल अवेलेबल है, नेचर में तकनीकी ज्ञान भी अवेलेबल है और नया ज्ञान भी आ सकता है, उसमें कोई अलग बात नहीं है। मेडिकल में दवाइयाँ अवेलेबल हैं, प्रोसीजर्स अवेलेबल हैं और काम शुरू किया जा सकता है, लेकिन काम ओरिजिन से ही शुरू होगा। इस बात को हमें अच्छी तरह समझना चाहिए। वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस वन, वी हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम ओरिजिनल वर्क एंड दैट्स व्हाई देयर डिफरेंस लाइज इन दिस प्रोफेशन। इंजीनियरिंग प्रोफेशन खेल नहीं है बच्चों का। आपको अगर शुरुआत से काम करना है तो शुरुआत से गलती होगी तो आखिर गलती होगी, और वही काम मेडिकल का शुरुआत से गलत डायग्नोज हो गया तो पेशेंट को सफ़र करना ही पड़ेगा। बाद में बेशक वो और दूसरा डॉक्टर ठीक कर देगा। मतलब ये कि कहने का तात्पर्य ये कि ये प्रोफेशन ऐसे हैं जिसमें सफ़र करना पड़ सकता है। हेल्थ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है। हेल्थ इज़ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट, रादर आई शुड से इम्पोर्टेंट। विदाउट गुड हेल्थ वी कैनॉट सर्वाइव। नो वन कैन सर्वाइव विदाउट गुड हेल्थ, एंड हेल्थ इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू कीप अप. Safety, health and environment are very significant issues that must be tackled by us. We cannot go without safety, we cannot work without good health, and we cannot live in without having good environment in atmosphere as well as in our working conditions or in working surroundings, vicinity you can say, envelope in which we work. Health is wealth, we used to say before. लॉन्ग बैक इफ़ यू गोज ऑफ रेसिंग, हेल्थ इज़ वेल्थ हम कहते थे। स्वास्थ्य ही संपत्ति है। स्वास्थ्य तो संपत्ति है जो खरीदी नहीं जा सकती, जो बनाई जा सकती है, मेंटेन की जा सकती है। वी यूज्ड टू से हेल्थ इज़ वेल्थ, एंड वी यूज्ड टू से दैट wealth is nothing, though it is wrong to say wealth is nothing, because it's wealth that because of which we eat, because of which we live, and we enjoy pleasure, we enjoy comfort. हम जिंदगी को आसान बनाते हैं, प्रॉपर्टीज़ वेल्थ से कहते हैं, दौलत, लेकिन वो एक लिमिट तक, उसको आप आज की तारीख में जो अनलिमिटेड कर दिया गया है, बल्कि कहा जाए तो मैसिव कर दिया गया है। कंपटीशन हो चुका है वेल्थ का पूरे विश्व में। वेल्थ हैज़ बीन ब्रॉट either as football or as cricket ball. Don't have surprise on what I'm saying. Wealth has become a field, a playground where football, or you can say cricket ball or golf, means these are balls which have been considered as wealth. It's my coat, it's your coat, it's my victory, it's your victory. But fact remains that wealth is never associated with you. You can never associate wealth with you. That is also a fact. This principle, how many people can understand? I think 100% people can understand, but they cannot realize. सारी दुनिया को ये समझ आता है, लेकिन मानने को कोई तैयार नहीं है। एक नशा होता है, नरकॉटिज्म, हैंगओवर। वेल्थ को देख के हम हैंगओवर में चले जाते हैं। हमारी जो बेसिक नीड्स हैं वो तो सबकी पूरी हो जाती हैं, जिसके पास थोड़ा भी पैसा है। अलग बात है, इस वक्त खाने को नहीं है, मैं उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा। बहुत से लोग हैं दुनिया में, आज भी आधे लोग ऐसे हैं जो खा नहीं सकते, उनके लिए अलग बात है। लेकिन जो लोग पैसा वाला है, जो चाहे वो मिडिल क्लास का हो, दूसरी क्लास का हो, खाने की, कपड़े पहनने की, रहने की कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। दे डोंट हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम अबाउट हाउसिंग, अबाउट क्लोथ्स, अबाउट फूड। इवन देन दे आर हैविंग टॉप टेंशन एवरीवेयर। इफ यू टॉक टू समवन, दैट पर्सन, आई एम स्ट्रेस्ड वेरी वेल, दैट पर्सन हैज कार, दैट पर्सन हैज हाउस, दैट पर्सन हैज मनी, दैट पर्सन डजंट वांट टू वॉक, दैट पर्सन लिव्स इन AC, दैट पर्सन एंजॉयज एवरी फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल इन लाइफ। उस पर्सन के पास, उस व्यक्ति के पास सब कुछ है, रहने का, खाने का, घूमने का, सब कुछ है, होटल जाने का, पैसा उड़ाने का, फ्लाइट में जाने का, लेकिन फिर भी वो स्ट्रेस में है। डू यू एवर हैव ए चांस टू थिंक अबाउट दिस, वाई दैट पर्सन इज इन स्ट्रेस? और किसी वर्कर से मिलिए आप, लेबर वर्कर जिसको कहते हैं हम, फिजिकल वर्कर, कंस्ट्रक्शन में काम करता हो, किसी फैक्ट्री में काम करता हो, या अपना फ्रीलांसिंग काम करता हो, फेरी लगाता हो गलियों में। इफ़ यू टॉक टू दैट पर्सन विल नॉट गिव दैट आई एम इन स्ट्रेस, बिकॉज दैट पर्सन इज बिजी ओनली in an environment where one has to work for eating, for living. That person has no chance to have stress except that requirements are not fulfilled. उसकी आवश्यकताएं पूरी नहीं होती हैं, इसलिए उसकी स्ट्रेस ऐसी नहीं है कि उसका दिमाग खराब हो जाए। लेकिन जो वो व्यक्ति है जिसके पास सब कुछ होने के बाद भी स्ट्रेस है, उसका क्या सॉल्यूशन है? वो जितना आगे बढ़ेगा उतनी स्ट्रेस उसकी बढ़ेगी, ये भी जानता है, लेकिन फिर भी कंपटीशन है। यही मैं कहता हूँ, क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ में फ़र्क पड़ता है। आप शांति से जी नहीं सकते तो कौन सी क्वालिटी है आपके पास? देयर इज़ नो क्वालिटी विद यू। मेंटली आप सेफ नहीं हैं। पैसा आपका इतना है कि कोई आपका बैंक हैक कर दे, कोई आपका कंप्यूटर हैक कर दे, आपकी इन्फॉर्मेशन इतनी है। इसका मतलब आप वैसे भी सेफ नहीं हैं। दूसरा, माइंड से सेफ नहीं है आप, तो माइंड आपका परमिट नहीं कर रहा आपको कि आराम से जिए। दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, क्वालिटी इज लिंक्ड टू लाइफ आल्सो। If you have no problem in life, at least you are having normal life, comfortable life. Why do you worry about that? God has given you something that you are not going to starve. You are not going to not to have clothes. You are having good transport, good house, you have good income. Then why do you have stress? It's a question of social engineering. Why, after all? Why I am behind all time? Money. Money is my support. It's not my master. Money is for me. I'm not for money. This phrase we have to understand. मैं पैसे के लिए नहीं हूं, पैसा मेरे लिए है, वेल्थ मेरे लिए है। ये बात समझ ही नहीं आती। इतनी सी बात समझ नहीं आती। मैथमेटिक्स समझ लेते हैं, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री समझ लेते हैं, थ्योरी ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर समझ लेते हैं, डिज़ाइन समझ लेते हैं, सर्जरी समझ लेते हैं, सब कुछ समझ लेते हैं। लेकिन ये बात कि वेल्थ इज़ नॉट फॉर मी, आई एम सॉरी, वेल्थ इज़ फॉर मी, आई एम नॉट फॉर वेल्थ, ये बात समझ ही नहीं आती। समझ नहीं आती ये बात। हाँ, समझ आती है अगर आप किसी शमशान में मिलें, ग्रेवयार्ड में मिलें, वहाँ ये बात कुछ मिनट के लिए समझ आएगी, लेकिन वहाँ भी कुछ मिनट के बाद दूसरी बातें शुरू हो जाएंगी। हालांकि है वहाँ भी कुछ नहीं, वहाँ भी एरिया है, ओपन है, कहीं बिल्डिंग है, कहीं क्रेमेटोरियम है, वहाँ भी स्ट्रक्चर है, वहाँ भी कोई एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी चीज़ नहीं है, लेकिन एक तरह की आइसोलेशन है ऑर्डिनरी समाज से कि चलो शमशान जा रहे हैं, ग्रेवयार्ड जा रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा अजीब सा लगता है, लेकिन मत भूलिए वो सबके लिए है, वहाँ कोई रिजर्वेशन नहीं है। जो जाएगा जाएगा, सब जाएंगे। अगर ये बात माइंड में रखें आप, इस कंडीशन को माइंड में रखें, if you keep this condition in mind all the time that I have to go, I think then you will not say this train is mine, this flight is mine, this plane carrier is mine. You won't say that. But that is very difficult, to be very frank. Every day is a new day, every hour is a new hour, but you don't realize that. I always say life is engineering based. Why? Because you are doing engineering of your life. Your life is not working for you. Your life shall work only what way you ask it to work for you. That's why I say quality can never be must. Quality can never be and must not be compromised by engineers and public. Why public? I am saying engineers, okay fine, it's their responsibility, उनकी जिम्मेदारी है, उनको करना ही पड़ेगा, नहीं तो वो काम नहीं कर सकते इंजीनियरिंग में। If engineers do not work qualitatively, they work only quantitatively, then their products, related products would fail, would not perform. That's what's very important point I have to think about. Engineering is something where natural environment is the highest level, you can say. What do you mean by say? You will say, why are you saying this? No engineering exists where material is not involved. No engineering. You can take whatever branch of engineering. You have to use natural produced materials. It may be civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, IT engineering, or even agricultural engineering. This and that you can take. No engineering can move without inclusion of natural material, बिना प्राकृतिक कच्चे माल के प्रयोग में लाए हुए, साथ लगाए हुए आप कोई भी इंजीनियरिंग में काम नहीं कर सकते। और जहाँ तक चिकित्सा विज्ञान की बात है, वहाँ तो आदमी ही नेचुरल है, व्यक्ति ही नेचुरल है तो बात ही खत्म हो जाती है। इसलिए क्वालिटी एक लाइफ का हिस्सा है, होना नहीं चाहिए, है। आप चाहें भी तो उसको हटा नहीं सकते। वो अलग बात है कि आप उसको कितना समझते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई गिव एग्जाम्पल इकोनॉमी. Every country says we are very strong in economy. We have gone to this level and we have gone to that level. Our GDP is this and we are number one or number two and this and that. Everybody claims as if kids claim in school. I consider all nations as kids, as child, as students because they do not know meaning of economy. You just think of, what is economy? Did you ever think from your lifestyle what's economy? How do you increase your income and can it be increased? My point of view is that you increase value or you increase material quantity. What do you increase? Keep silence and think of for a few seconds or few minutes. What does economy mean? We talk of economy in world. We talk of macroeconomy, it is microeconomy. Okay, fine, that is analysis of economy. But can it change? We say in science, energy cannot be changed. It can be transformed to other shape, other product, but it cannot be destroyed, right? Energy cannot be destroyed. Here I say it's economy that cannot be enhanced in quantity. It cannot be, yes, it can be destroyed. In fact, you use your hydrogen bomb, nuclear bomb and destroy economy. That is different. But where from economy comes? That is my question. Where from does it come? I would say, just like my body, everybody's body is physically good or physically bad. What potential do you have? What stamina do you have? What's your strength? How have you built up so much? These questions can be raised. मेरा स्वास्थ्य कैसा है? मेरी शक्ति कितनी है? मैं कितना काम कर सकता हूँ? इसके बारे में तो सोचा जा सकता है. वही चीज़, वही प्रिंसिपल हमारी ज़मीन पर जिस पर हम रहते हैं, अर्थ पर, लिथोस्फीयर पर लागू होता है. We have to think about that. After all, from where does economy come? Economy comes from earth. Of course, it is related to sun, it is related to air, it is related to rain, and ultimately, basically, it is related to soil. And if we do not link all these agencies, we cannot understand economy. In GDP we divide, okay, these are 8 sectors. You work out economical value out of these sectors. We say that. And that's right, okay, it depends upon, we have done that. Agricultural sector, mining sector, real estate sector, construction sector, manufacturing sector, this sector and that sector, 8 or 9 points are there, and then we multiply with some component or constant and we arrive to some result that this is GDP, gross domestic product. Alright, that's our formula. But what is real formula that we have to search out? हमें वास्तविक बात भी समझनी चाहिए. You just think, our world is very small if you compare to sun or to Jupiter, but all these are integrated part of solar system. सूर्यमंडल में ये सब हिस्सेदार हैं. बृहस्पति हो, सूर्य हो, या आप कह सकते हैं मंगल हो, कोई भी प्लैनेट हो, ये सब सूर्यमंडल का हिस्सा हैं. हम इसको हटा नहीं सकते और ये आपस में काम करते हैं. हम समझ सकते हैं, yes, we can understand what these do, how these do, but we cannot play with them. Of course, it is imagination. We imagine, oh, this is solar system. Scientifically, it is done, not spiritually or not by you can say speculation. We do it, and we should realize this fact. हमको इसको समझना भी चाहिए. छोटी सी दुनिया between maybe around 12,500 kilometers only, 12,500 kilometers only diameter of Earth, approximately, you may say 13,000 maximum, not more than that. In whatever you calculate, you measure, it's so small. If you compare it to size of sun, it is about 13 lakhs or 1.3 million kilometer in diameter. If you place 111 Earths together one after another, then you can form diameter of sun. So this means sun, what's volume of Earth? If you calculate mathematically, you will find immense value of Earth in kilometer cube. But if you compare it to volume of sun, there's nothing. All planets can be absorbed by sun. All planets can be absorbed by sun. That's also a fact. Well, let's come back and to talk of economy. But economy is related to when we talk of agricultural field, when we talk of air contents, when we talk of sea or water bodies, all are directly related to solar energy. Without solar energy, we cannot grow crops. Without solar energy, water cannot evaporate and you cannot form rain. Likewise, your air cannot be chemically reacted if sun rays do not come. So, you may say, remotely, our economical system is controlled or partly operated by these agencies. That point must be kept in mind scientifically. This is a part of engineering also. How do you work in agricultural engineering? Because without development we can stay, without physical development we can live, but without consumption of food we cannot live. That's also true. Original survival means agricultural engineering. Without crops, without food grains, without pulses, without whatever we consume, we cannot survive. Without water we cannot survive, without air we cannot survive, without sun we cannot survive. Of course, we are stationed on Earth, lithosphere. This means these are very prominent, primary, reliable agencies we have to live with. But we are not paying them anything. That's also true. Do we pay something to sun or moon? Or something to sea or air? Never, never, never. We don't get any bill, any claim from them. And that's why we do not value them. We value our electrical unit consumption because we have to pay bill. We value our water bill. We have to think for. Because if I use more, I'll pay more. But here, our service provider Suraj, sun, service provider air, or whatever else, they do not send any claims. And therefore, we are tension free from these points, these sources, you can say, and we don't care. But where we spend money, where we spend our energy, we care for that. Yes, it's a point to understand. I'm talking of engineering quality, I'm talking of economy also, because engineering quality is related to economy. We cannot disassociate with that. Engineering quality means economic quality. Economy and engineering are directly proportional and related to each other. If your engineering is poor, your asset you produce shall be poor, and you cannot count upon them. No banking can be done on that. That's why I say we have fixed resources in earth, in lithosphere, and we are dependent on them. We say we have mined this much. Mining means we have taken out this material from lithosphere. Water quantity is fixed. Seas and oceans are fixed. Rivers are fixed. Quantity of water can be evaporated, that's true, but it remains in chemical form. Cloud form, chemical form, moisture form, RH form, whatever form, underground reservoir form, it remains there. It does not go away. But sun is beyond that. Sun is beyond space, 15 crore kilometers from earth. Means it is different. Air is within, air can be, it is to some extent within airspace. Therefore, it is different. But without air, we cannot survive. Now they are thinking of carbon dioxide reduction. Whole world is thinking of methane reduction. Now they are thinking, did they not understand that time when they started creating all these pollutants into air? They understood. They knew it very well. If you go behind 80 years, 90 years, we will find this was known that fossils, fuels we are getting in form of petrol and diesel, etc., shall create huge problem for air. They knew it very well. But because they were hungry for making money, and it changed the entire scenario, petroleums changed the entire scenario. It devastated air, but it gave development of vehicles, industrialization, and everything. We got something and we lost something. We got something, that is use of natural products, for which nature did a lot work in many millions of years, and we are so smart that we destroyed that work within less than 100 years. So beautifully oriented we are. You can say human is a master of destruction. Human is master of destruction of natural products, natural resources. We have destroyed not only petrol, we have destroyed our trees, we have destroyed our heart, green work, green materials. Of course, we are giving name of greenhouse. Actually, to be very frank, it was greenhouse. We have converted it to red house. To be very frank, it's not green. It's now red. We have destroyed forests. We have destroyed everything. But still, we are getting food. That's what I say. You cannot increase material quantity or resource quantity or source quantity which are available in lithosphere. We cannot increase that, but we cannot exploit that, and we have been exploiting that. हम सत्यानाश तो कर रहे हैं, उसको बना नहीं रहे. सत्यानाश हम जरूर कर रहे हैं और कर दिया. अभी भी अर्थ जिंदा है. Still earth is working because we are not strong enough to break earth. That is also true. So my dear, I'm not an earth scientist. I'm not another scientist. I'm just trying to say where we should and how we should do. We are taught in engineering that you have to use natural materials economically and optimally. It means that we have to respect nature. We cannot break out at our wish. If it is required, we have to do it. Otherwise, we should not reduce quantity of whatever products we have. In form, quantity cannot be increased, come what may. Value can be different. Value can be different. Example is very, very simple. Many times I have quoted. If you have one house, one building, yes, you have. You can use this building and you say, I constructed this building 20 years back and today its value has been 20 times or 50 times, you may say that. What do you mean by value? You would say cost. Okay, cost has increased, but if you analyze, did you get any increase in quantity of materials? You include it on that structure. You would say no, there is no increase in quantity. This means if quantity has not increased, how do you say its value has increased? Yes, relative value has increased, not real value. If you have money, your money has devalued. This means it is same, there is no difference. Comparatively, relatively and business-wise, value has gone up. Otherwise, it is same. Take it this way, if I expand your body, can you live? You cannot live. Because how are you talking about expansion of my body? I want to pull your body applying tension force. You shall die. But we are applying that every time on economy. Why? How can economy increase? Every economist knows very well economy cannot increase. But value they are understanding, they don't understanding quantity. We don't understand quantity, but quantity is dominating factor. Quality is dominating factor because quality and quantity are together. They cannot move in separation. Quality is a part of quantity. Quality cannot be separated. Yes, it can be spoiled. It can be spoiled. It can be abused. And that's my point, where root of my talk lies. Engineers means quality person. If engineer cannot understand quality, there is no other profession that can understand quality. Because quality is a part of engineer's profession, major part of engineer's profession. See, we cannot change natural product. We cannot change that. Because that is original work. Yes, we can metamorphose this. We can abuse it, or we can mix up some material together with other material. That we can do. And we have done it. We have been doing it. Elements we talk of, these are elements. These are organic materials, inorganic materials. This is this material and this is that material. This alloy and this is this and this is that. We go on doing work like this. Chemical equation, this equation, that equation. I just give an example how nature works. You know it very well, only a reference I am giving. Can someone tell me one item where package is not done? Package means complete protection. Complete protection. पूर्ण रूप से बचाव. Nature delivers to us food items like vegetables, food item like fruits, food item like food grains, food items like you can say whatever else. Nature gives us freedom that don't worry about these items. I am responsible for these items and their respective protection. How does it? Can you think that way? I'm not going to teach you something special. I'm just trying to communicate to you what is happening. It's just an observation and nothing else. मैं सिर्फ देख कर बताना चाह रहा हूँ आपको। मेरी छोटी सी बुद्धि में आता है कि प्रकृति ने हमें जो भी दिया है या जो भी दे रही है वो एक परफेक्ट एनवायरनमेंट करके दे रही है, परफेक्ट कमांड से दे रही है। आप कोई भी फ्रूट ले लीजिए, यू टेक एनी फ्रूट, वट एवर फ्रूट, you will find completely protected. Banana, there's thick skin on that, and why inside you go, it's very soft. Take apple, it's very thin skin on that, but if you go inside, you will find very good quantity, consistency, eatable consistency, but not that soft. You take some other item, whatever item you take, vegetable you take, you will find good skin, protection, and inside material. There is nothing in nature which we get from, it's not protected. Everything, every item nature gives us is well protected. Well protected. This means nature wants to protect the quality of its material. Of course, if you don't consume during some defined or understood time, it shall decompose naturally because it's organic. It's not inorganic. Banana, if you don't consume within some time, or whatever else you get from nature, for example dry fruits or whatever else, there is duration, shelf life for every item. You can say shelf life you can define like you define in chemistry or in some other manufactured product, which is shelf life is much. Before shelf life, if you consume that, use that, it's good. Otherwise, it's expired in its use. So in these items we get naturally प्राकृतिक रूप से दिए गए पदार्थ जो हम खाते हैं या यूज़ करते हैं, अगर हम उसको यूज़ नहीं करेंगे एक समय में तो ये डिकम्पोज हो जाएंगे, इसकी कंपोजिशन चेंज हो जाएगी. यू कैन से दैट जो भी नेचुरली परसेंटेजेस हैं जिस आइटम की वो चेंज हो जाएंगी, वेरी हो जाएंगे और ये खाने के मतलब नहीं रहेगा. नेचर जब इतना सोच सकता है हमारे लिए, हम क्यों नहीं उसकी वैल्यू देते. वी आर थॉट बाय नेचर. Nature doesn't tell us, but it thinks for us, it does for us. We have to understand this requirement. Nature also seeks from us. Are we in a position to give nature, to keep nature good for us? Because if we do not do that, we spoil ourselves. Nature works very soft for us. You think production of fruit is easy? You think production of vegetables are easy? Because we do not know, we only know original one activity, and that is seeding for breed, or we irrigate after that using fertilizer and all that. We can fulfill support to chemical requirement of natural materials, but processing is done by nature. Processing in entirety, processing in absolute form is conducted by nature for every generation, for every breed. Till now we do not know how human is created, how it is constructed. Do we know? We know medical science, we know procedures, but how does it happen? Nobody has seen. How human is created or constructed or processed, nobody has seen physically, and it's not going to see physically. You think, just think of, it's a point of thinking of human generation example. Everybody comes through womb. We are, everybody is processed, everybody is manufactured or constructed in warmth. Complete product is delivered from there. Is it wrong? Yes, time limit is there, and this is for all, not only for human, for animals also, for all creatures. Some time schedule is available. We cannot do anything there. We have no controls. Yes, observation is done through medical science. I am not talking observation, I am talking of work. Is that work so easy, you think? No, it's not. Because we do not know how it happens. How it works, we do not know. We only know, yes, it has been done. Yes, it has been done. Who has done it? No electric supply there. No light there. No process, how it is happening, no worker there. No machine there. No raw material there. But human is created. We may assume there is a blood supply, this is manufacturing unit, this is raw material. Yes, you may say. There is food supply from natural process, you can say. There are plants. Means we get every requirement, but we do not know how does it come. Yes, there may be agricultural scientists, there may be medical scientists, there may be research scientists who can explain these theories, but nobody has demonstrated anything. So we have to understand power of nature. Power of nature says, if you don't do according to me, according to what I decide, you will suffer. But this charter lies with you. I have given you charter that I have done my responsibility. You have to do your job. You shall not worry about food. Yes, you have to do little work on that to seed, and I will support it. And then when you get this food items in raw material form, you can live without problems. God has defined this clearly by physical demonstration, but we do not understand that. Quality is already there in every product. People say, I'm using salt, I'm using this, I don't want to I can't eat without that. But people don't understand the requirement is already there, available in every item. But we still want additives like spices or like some lubricants, you can say oil or cream or whatever, because of we do not know what are facts. This is what I say, we adulterate that quality which God has given because we do not understand. Same way, I am inclined to speak on quality in engineering, quality in product, quality in every part of life. That is very important. अगर हम इतना नहीं समझते तो मैं नहीं समझता कि हम अपने मस्तिष्क का ध्यान रखते हैं, मस्तिष्क को यूज़ करते हैं. माइंड का काम हमको समझाना है और उसको हमें कंट्रोल भी करना है और हम इसके कंट्रोल में भी आना है. कुछ कॉम्प्लिकेशन है मेरे सेंटेंस में, लेकिन चिंता नहीं कीजिए, बिल्कुल सही है. आपका माइंड आपका है, आपका माइंड आपकी शक्ति है, आपकी शक्ति आपके हाथ में है. आप इसको यूज़ करें, आप इसको यूज़ ना करें, ये आपके हाथ में है. डिवाइस है आपकी अपनी, आप कैसे इसको चलाएं आपको देखना है. आसान है कहना हम बहुत इंटेलिजेंट हैं, हम कह देते हैं बहुत इंटेलिजेंट हैं, तो वो बहुत इंटेलिजेंट थे, पर हमने किस एंगल से कहा कोई इंटेलिजेंट है? इंटेलिजेंस किस क्लास का है, किस डायरेक्शन में है, वो इम्पोर्टेंट है. इंटेलिजेंट तो डकैती डालने के लिए भी सोचता है। इंटेलिजेंट आदमी तो डिस्ट्रक्शन की भी सोचता है। इस इंटेलिजेंट आदमी अच्छे काम की भी सोचता है, लेकिन जो काम डिस्ट्रक्शन का है वो आसानी से हो जाता है, जो कंस्ट्रक्शन का है उसमें बहुत मुश्किल लगता है। इंटेलिजेंस डजंट मीन एवरीबडी अंडरस्टैंड्स इंटेलिजेंस. Intelligent means you have to think from distance. You know very well. You have to speculate. You have to think the material is with you, though it's not with you. You think how metal exists and you have not seen that. Same way, it is quality. I come back to my point only because I don't want to remove myself from this place to somewhere else. From this location to somewhere else in abeyance. No, I do not stay in abeyance. मैं लटकना नहीं चाहता, ना अपने दिमाग को लटकाना चाहता हूँ, ना अपने प्लॉट को लटकाना चाहता हूँ। मैं सिर्फ इतना कहूँगा, अगर ईश्वर को पाना है, अगर ईश्वर की शक्ति को पाना है, if you want to reach that power who is your own, we do not understand, a part of which you are, if you want to realize, then you try to work with quality, with safety. You will feel different. आपको सिर्फ अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, आप अच्छे हो जाओगे। अच्छा लगना और अच्छा होना डिफरेंस है दोनों में। I want to see good or I am good. Both are different. Why do I want to see myself good? I don't want to see myself good. I don't want to show others that I am good, but I want to be good. Why should I worry about what others say? It's my work that will identify me, that will nominate me, and that will automatically tell everybody that I am this. It is work that speaks, it is work that identifies, and nothing else. Maybe you don't get name, that is different. But person who abuses your name knows very well whose work is that. Therefore, don't worry about what is your credit or what's not your credit. Work about, think about quality, because if you think of quality, you think of quantity. Frankly speaking, whatever you decide for quality as a specifier, you have to decide your way. You have to constitute your way. You have to form your system and conform to that. Not only form, conform. And that is what engineering says. Because non-conformance means engineer is either careless or ignorant or incompetent. We have to be very careful. We have to define requirements and we have to achieve them as well. We have to define varying requirements, we have to define different requirements, and we have to achieve them as well. It's not simply definition. And that achievement of definition is very serious matter. And seriousness means engineering. Seriousness means life. I'm not inclined to say when you consider serious, this doesn't mean that you don't laugh, don't smile, don't feel pleased and happy. No, be happy, be pleased, because you are serious. Those who do not show pleasing faces, you think they are serious? No, they are not serious. Serious people always laugh. Serious people always enjoy, because they have solutions to their problems. Maybe sooner or later they will get solutions, But those people who don't have solutions to their problem, they don't want to enjoy, they don't want to laugh. If somebody has very serious face, I always think that that person does not use intelligence, or that person does not have comprehension how to use that. If I solve a problem, naturally I have to be happy. I cannot show my weeping face to others. Why? Shall others help me? No. That's what I say. We have certain inbuilt in our minds, and mind has every power to give me solution. It's up to me how do I use my mind and extracts full potential of its belongings. Potential is never decreased once you have it. Yes, it can settle for time being, but when recharge it, you will get it back. Maybe with more modifications. It's different type of statement. Seriousness is different definition, has different definition. If I am serious face, it doesn't mean I am serious. But if I am laughing, I am answering your questions, and I can take your questions and answer them. This means I am intelligent, I am serious. If I can't answer, this means I am not serious because I don't have knowledge about that. Having knowledge about something, or getting more and more knowledge, and to acquaint yourself actually to find result, to reach result by whatever way, I can say that is route to solution, and that is what I can define, that it can be called seriousness. It is same, very simple, means it is serial, it's not seriousness actually. If you have to take 10 steps to reach some point, some location, some milestone, some destiny, आपको अपनी मंजिल पाने में मान लीजिए 10 कदम लेने होते हैं. अगर आपने 10 कदम नहीं लिए, आपको अपनी मंजिल नहीं मिलेगी. लेकिन आप 10 कदम लेंगे तो आपको अपनी मंजिल मिलेगी. ये नहीं कि आपने जीरो पे खड़े हुए, एक्स ओ एक्स एक्सेस वाई ओ एक्सेस के मिलन पे, ऑरिजिन जिसे कहते हैं, और आपने कहा जी मुझे वहाँ जाना है नंबर 10 पे, एक्स की वैल्यू 10, क्या आप सीधा पहुँच जाएंगे? कैलकुलेशन में तो पहुँच सकते हैं, लेकिन जाने में तो 1 2 3 सबसे रिश्ता बनाना पड़ेगा. You have to move all points from 0 to 10. Only then you can reach 10. You stop on 1, 2, 3 or 4. It's up to you. But you have to cross them to reach 10. That is what seriousness is about. If you say, no, I have to stop at 3, I don't want to go further. So your seriousness is up to 3, 30% serious you are. You are not able to get your time to reach there. गंभीर का मतलब गंभीरता से है, फेस से नहीं. कई बार बहुत मुश्किल होता है समझना, बहुत मुश्किल होता है समझना. और इंजीनियरिंग यही है, इंजीनियरिंग यही है, और कुछ भी इंजीनियरिंग नहीं है. दिस इज व्हाट इज इंजीनियरिंग. देयर इज नो अदर इंजीनियरिंग इन वर्ल्ड. You understand process, you understand how to move on that, you understand how to fix your milestone, you understand how to fix everything, how to arrange everything so that you can make your train and move, for which every resource is available, or you can arrange and coordinate so that you can reach to that point smoothly in given time, and nobody can raise a question because there is no question left. To an extent engineering is concerned, that's point of concern, and we can say it's point of seriousness when we are not able to find certain solution, never come in tension. Because solution you have, you are not able to pinpoint location of that. Because there is no problem which cannot be solved in this world. If you have complete isolation, if you are not linked to, oh, what shall this person say to me, I could not find a solution. Solution comes already, it's already is with you. It's somewhere it is, maybe you are not able to reach there. No problem can come without its solution. This is natural law. Sometimes we can't observe it, we can't read it, we can't identify a solution. But engineering cannot move without solution, remember. Engineering cannot move without solution. Only is its discovery requirement. Its discovery requirement, and that is where we fail, I can say. So my dear friends, I'm not here to talk of seriousness, but seriousness is a part automatically. It's an integral part of engineering and engineering business. When I say engineering business, it doesn't mean commerce. It means how to remain busy, because if you remain busy in engineering with you, engineering works for you, and if you don't have association or business in engineering, then you cannot move. Engineering is not hourly counted work. It's work of, you can say, you cannot define how to measure it. Engineering work quantity can be measured, but not engineering. Because engineering is a school of thought. It is a school of contemplation. It's a school of formalization. It's a school of, you can say, use. It's a school of, you can say, application. Application means how to apply something, we have to know it. And we can apply only if we have thorough knowledge, we have complete theory, we have complete design way, and we have arrangements of all required resources. Only then we can move on its process. Application it is called. That is application. It's not simply writing on paper. It's something to be done using and involving all required resources and then getting the required results. So we have to be very serious about that. I was inclined to talk of contracts, as I said before. I try to explain everything because contracts are engineering item. Contracts means engineering work. Of course, contract is a term, but it is engineering done. You do it directly or you do through some work, through somebody. Ultimately, we do engineering on site. It can be construction engineering or design engineering, or it may be whatever else engineering and whatever else disciplines we include on that project. Project which once we start, then we have to finish it. We cannot keep pending any project forever, because project has both limits, starting and end, or completion, while post completion, that is different time limit. And that's why we say we have to operate or use that project for more duration, more longer life than it is used for construction, or formation, or establishment. Maybe 20 times, maybe 30 times, depends on what product is. Means you are giving a scale of 1:20 to 1:30 or 1:40. You are going to use that life scale of its construction in comparison to life scale of its use or operation. That wide scale means wider requirement of thinking. If I say I construct this item in 1 hour and I consume this item or use this item for 4 hours or 5 hours, that's what scale is. Our scale should be as longer as possible, but quality should not change, or you can say performance of my product should not change throughout its existing lifetime or throughout its own use. Of course, operation and maintenance are very significant there. They play a very significant role whole life of its use. So contract is a medium of construction. It's a medium of design. And that's why I thought that contracting explanation, deliberation on contract is very important, very significant. And we are bound to do that. We cannot go on deliberation without technology, without formula, without methods, or we can say experience. In this talk, we discussed last time many points, and now I'm talking about application for interim payment. What is interim payment? Do you know? Payment is done to a contractor because contractor works, and that work is done according to provisions on contract that employers and contractor enters into some formal agreement, enters into some formal, you can say, charter, formal page executed by law. If contractor performs, contractor works, contractors require to pay. Owner is required to pay to contractor, and contractor is required to pay to those from whom contractor buys materials or whatever else. It is a system, it's a sequence of payment. Purpose of contract is that it should speak clearly what shall be paid for what work. Work is defined. Payment is also defined. Both are defined. It may be unit rate contract, it may be piece rate contract, it may be lump sum contract, or it may be whatever else you can say, workforce rate contract. That we provide work, we provide every requirement, material, machine, etc. And contractor has to work, procuring its own workers. I'm talking of lump sum fixed price contract, where price is fixed, price cannot be changed, work is fixed, work cannot be changed. Whatever work is defined in our contract documents, that work has to be done in defined time, and this price which is agreed shall be paid to contractor. There should be no variation, defined time, defined price, defined work, or you can say defined scope of work or responsibilities that would be shared by employer as well as by contractor. It's really complete explained document, or we can say speaking document, for which we have to pay. Let us say there may be 2 years contract, 3 years contract, and if it's 2 years contract means there are 24 months to go, and you cannot naturally expect someone not to be paid for 24 months for work that is done by that person. Yes, if it's for 15 days, 1 month, we can say okay, fine, we'll pay at the end we cannot pay you in 2 days or 3 days. But if a month's 24, the month's 36, there is no expectation, no such expectation the contract should not be paid. So we have to keep this factor in mind. And that's we call that either you pay every month if contractor makes a claim, or you pay every whatever is agreed that this should be minimum amount if you want to raise your valuation. If contractor is inclined to get payment, then you have to work at least this much, or whatever work is done or not done, it is irrelevant. Every month you raise your valuation statement, or you can say work done statement and adequate claims. So that's what we pay at frequent time period, 1 month, 15 days or whatever, generally 1 month. So that's what means payment up to final payment, all these payments which are approved and effected to support our project, or you may say to support contractors, power. We can say these are interim payments, or also called running payments. Means until project is run to reach its destiny, payments are made. Contractor shall submit statement to employer after end of period of payment stated in contract data, and if it's not stated, after end of each month. अगर नहीं है हमारे डाटा में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के कि कब पेमेंट कर रही हैं, अगर है तो अच्छी बात है, और अगर नहीं है तो महीने में तो करनी ही पड़ेगी। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को पेमेंट करना ज़रूरी होता है, क्योंकि अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को पेमेंट नहीं होगा तो वो कहाँ से पैसा देगा उन लोगों का जिससे वो सामान लेता है, मशीन लेता है। सैलरी कहाँ से देगा लोगों की जो काम करते हैं। इसलिए पेमेंट देना भी ज़रूरी है। हमने उसको एडवांस भी दिया हुआ है, एडवांस को रिकवर भी करना है। उसने हमको बहुत कुछ दिया है, हमने उसको बहुत कुछ दिया है, वो सब छोड़ो, पेमेंट की बात चल रही है। आई रिपीट, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर शैल सबमिट ए स्टेटमेंट टू एम्प्लॉयर आफ्टर एंड ऑफ पीरियड ऑफ पेमेंट stated in contract data, and if it's not stated, after end of each month, and this statement shall be in a form acceptable to employer, be submitted in one paper original, one electronic copy, and additional paper copies as stated in contract data. Show in detail amounts to which contractor considers that contractor is entitled, with supporting documents which shall include sufficient details for employer to investigate these amounts, together with relevant report on progress in accordance with progress reports. Progress reports must be included, or its reference must be included whatsoever. So these are 3 main points that we have to understand before going further. Means a form is already there, or if it's not there, we can make it, we can design that form, and that form must be acceptable to party 1, and that's employer. एम्प्लॉयर को, पार्टी 1 को वो फॉर्म का डिज़ाइन क्लियर होना चाहिए, या वो जो डिज़ाइन दे उसको हमें करना चाहिए। वी हैव टू सबमिट, हमें सबमिट करना होगा ओरिजिनल डॉक्यूमेंट जो हमने बनाया स्टेटमेंट, उसकी सॉफ्ट कॉपी और भी कॉपी जैसी आवश्यकता है हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के हिसाब से। पूरा बताए कितना अमाउंट बनता है, जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर समझता है मेरा ड्यू है और या उसका हक है उस पर, और साथ में सारे दस्तावेज लगाए जिनकी ज़रूरत पड़े समझने के लिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्लेम को, और जांच करें इस पर, जिसको हम कहेंगे कितनी प्रोग्रेस आपके काम की आई है, प्रोग्रेस रिपोर्ट। ये सारे डॉक्यूमेंट आपको लगाने पड़ते हैं जब कोई भी पैसे के लिए आप बिल बनाते हैं। आप सामान खरीदते हैं बाज़ार में तो भी बिल लेते हैं, पैसे देते हैं। वहाँ पर सामान खरीदा, आपके पास सामान ले लिया, बैग में डाल दिया और पैसा दे दिया। या सामान आपके घर पे है, आपकी तो अपनी साइट है, वो वहाँ पर है, तो वो भी सामान आपको डिलीवर किया गया। स्टेटमेंट शैल इंक्लूड फॉलोइंग आइटम्स। क्या क्या इंक्लूड करेगा? इंक्लूड फॉलोइंग आइटम्स। Statement shall include following items as applicable, which be expressed in various currencies in which contract price is payable. जो भी आइटम्स में होंगी, जो भी पार्ट्स उसके होंगे, वो यहाँ डिफाइन किए गए हैं। इंडिकेटिवली हैं, परफेक्ट नहीं हो सकता। एप्लीकेबल एज एप्लीकेबल, और वो कौन सी करेंसी में होंगे और क्या प्राइस होगा, वो सब इसमें दिया जाएगा। स्टेटमेंट शैल इंक्लूड फॉलोइंग आइटम्स एज एप्लीकेबल, विच शैल बी expressed in various currencies in which contract price is payable. देखिए, estimated contract value of works, estimated contract value of works executed, and contractors documents produced up to end of period of payment, including variations but excluding items described in below. Amounts to be added or deducted for changes in law. Amounts to be added or deducted for changes in laws under adjustments for changes in law clause, and for changes in cost under adjustments of changes in cost. Amount to be deducted for retention calculated by applying percentage of retention stated in contract data, which is almost 10%, to total of amounts under given above. Amounts so retained by employer reaches limit of retention money stated in contract data. Amounts to be added or deducted for advance payment and repayments, that is under advance payment. Amount to be added or deducted for plant and materials under plants and materials intended for works. Other additions or deductions which have become due under contract or otherwise, including those under agreement or determination. Amount to be added or provisional sums under provisional sums clause. Amount to be added for release of retention money under release of retention money. Amount to be deducted for contractors' use of utilities provided by employer under temporary utilities. Deduction of amounts previously paid by employer under payment. See, these are only indicative one. To be very frank, it should be total work done, item wise or whatever, BOQ wise. In fact, there may be many BOQs for one project. In lump sum, fixed sum prices, it's different work. If suppose there are 10 parts of contract, or you can say 10 bills or valuations, forms, you have to fill every one. We have to show in every bill of quantity how much work has been done. Every bill, because we cannot combine everyone from clarification viewpoint and from, you can say, claims viewpoint. So all works are measured. We can take reference of BOQs for purpose of evaluation. When we start some project, we can start with fixing our values together, that each bill shall be considered a basis only for purpose of measurement, and sum of all bills shall be equal to lump sum amount of contract. And in contract also lump sum amount of each bill is given. So you can say lump sum amounts of each bill or all bills individually representing, and also sum of all equal to contract sum. That can be referred to all time, and it can be decided for each bill percentage wise. Up to this level, if it is done, we will raise this much payment. Up to that level, we will done this payment, or quantity wise we can come. If the structure is finished, so much we will pay this much. Of you can take prime item wise. Now, how to take, what to take, that has to be decided between engineer, through engineer, between employer and contractor. There are so many ways of that, but to save time for purpose of evaluation, it's better to fix. Every month you cannot fix separate formula, so it's fixed every time. It's fixed for all bills, so that it takes very little time only when we say, okay, this percentage has gone to this much from this level. So we can say last time it was this much and this time is this much. That's it. And then we can find work done in each bill and total work done on all bills and total cost of all bills. Of course, deductions have to be made accordingly. What secured advance we have to think of, because what material we have got and not installed, so we can pay advance payment or secured advance payment for this item, say 75%, not more than that, or as evaluated for. There happens that there are so many items which are procured but could not be installed due to whatever reason, but contractor has paid, and that is secured one. Contractor cannot remove that from site. I cannot remove, as well as this is a protected one, as nobody can damage or abuse that item. So we can say these are total work done item, and this is item we already paid. We have paid that much, and this, you can say, we have to recover this much. Generally 10% recovery, and if more expenditure if you have helped, then we have to recover that also from contractor. And at the end we can say all works have been collected into, and then this is our last payment, this is our current work, and this you pay us this difference. And then you can say contract matters are issued with this particular requirement on specification. That is also considered. It's also included in our calculation. So that's what I mean. A payment is something like that. Even if it is very small, and small means say millions, of course. Small doesn't mean few hundreds, because when you have billions of contract, billions dollars, billions, so it would be millions. Suppose one contract is for $2 billion and it's for 24 months. 2 billion means, let us say, that is 2.4 billion, and you can say 24 months. So how much is that? 2.4 billion, you have to divide by 24. You will get 0.24 or whatever you get per 0.24 billion per month. So on an average, contractor must get that. On an average, I am saying. And if it doesn't happen, there is something wrong somewhere, which must be scrutinized, which must be screened out and filtered. So every month you have to work out total works done on project and total, you can say, recoveries made on project, or whatever additional conditions of course apply, that too must be worked out. And whatever is remaining to be due to contractor, that must be defined, and certificate given to contractor by engineer that your due is this much, that has to be honored by owner. This is so simple, means even if it is less paid doesn't matter, because next time it will be covered. Or if overpaid, it also doesn't matter. Overpaid, it doesn't mean you pay full this. Sometimes keeping in the interest of work means encouragement for something has to be done. Okay, this time I give you this percentage, but next time you have to be very careful. Though it doesn't generally happen very often, but you see, after all, full payment has to go to contractors. One has to protect self also, that's also important. You cannot say if work is not done you pay. That's not possible. There can be some variation, 0.01%. Sometimes you can pay here, cannot pay there. Though it's not exactly right, but it depends on circumstances. So what I say, every month you are going to pay, and of course every month more work is going to happen. So for encouragement of both parties, if contract is very active, very successful, qualitatively again I say, I no compromise with quality. That is first requirement. There can be no compromise in quality of driving, quality of work, quality of thinking, and quality of whatever work you do. That has to be taken care of. So that's what payment I'm talking of, payment of. And then we have schedule of payments. It's also very much important. Schedule of payment. पेमेंट को कैसा बनाया जाए? Very important point. Schedules of payment, and which cannot be taken for granted in any way. It has to be understood properly how we do that. Schedule of payments. If contract includes a schedule of payments specifying installments in which contract price shall be paid unless otherwise stated in this schedule. Installments quoted in schedule of payments shall be treated as estimated contract values for purpose of subparagraph application for interim payment and plants materials intended for works. And if these installments are not defined by reference to actual progress achieved in execution of works, and actual progress is found by employer to differ from that on which schedule of payment was based, we have to take all this into consideration. I'll take little few minutes because so there will be some requirement here, so we can say let's concentrate now on scheduled payments. You can read 5 minutes and again some requirements to live for 5 minutes. My leg, maybe you always think why I live in between, but that's my can't stop video because of how it works. So give me a few minutes time. I'm here to help you people to understand engineering and engineering contracts. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Nobody is perfect. But experience is a prime teacher in life. Experience, which is theoretical and practical both. That's very serious issue and it must be taken care of. so it's okay. I think it's okay, fine. We are going to talk about schedule of payments, which was left incomplete, and it is schedule of payments. If contract includes schedule of payments, specifying installments in which contract price shall be paid unless otherwise stated in this schedule. Installments quoted in schedule of payments shall be treated as estimated contract values for purpose of application for interim payment, subject to plants and materials intended for works. If these installments are not defined by reference to actual progress achieved in execution of works, and actual progress is found by employer to differ from that on which schedule of payment was based, then employer's representative will proceed under agreement or determination to agree or determine revised installments, that is time limits. Date when difference under above was found and by employer shall be date of commencement of time limit for agreement. Such revised installments shall take account of extent to which progress differs from that on which schedule of payment was based. If contract does not include a schedule of payments, contractor shall submit non-binding estimates of payments which contractor expects to become due during each period of 3 months. First estimate shall be submitted in 42 days after commencement of the commencement date. Revised estimate shall be submitted at intervals of 3 months until issue of taking over certificate works. Plant and materials intended for works. If no plant or materials are listed in contract data for payments when shipped and or payment when delivered, subclause shall not apply. Contract shall include application for interim payment. Under this clause, an amount to be added for plant and materials which have been shipped or delivered, as case may be, to site for incorporation in permanent works. An amount to be deducted when contract value of such plant and material is included as part of permanent work under application for interim payment. Employer's representative shall proceed under agreement or determination to agree on determine each amount to be added for plant and materials if following conditions are fulfilled. Time limits, date these conditions are fulfilled shall be date of commencement of time limit for agreement. Contractor has kept satisfactory records including orders, receipts, costs and use of plant and machine materials which are available for inspection by employer. Submitted evidence demonstrating that plant and materials comply with contract, which may include test certificates, testing by contractors, compliance verification documentation under compliance verification system to employer, and submitted a statement of cost of acquiring and shipping or delivering plant and materials to site supported by satisfactory evidence, and either relevant plant and materials are those listed in contact data. And are those listed in contact data for payment when shipped, have been shipped to country and route to site in accordance with contract, and are described in a clean shipped bill of lading or either other evidence of shipment which has been submitted to employer together with evidence of payment of freight and insurance, any other documents reasonably required by employer, and will written undertaking by contractor, that contractor shall deliver to employer prior to submitting next statement a bank guarantee in a form and issued by an entity to which employer gives consent, but such consent shall not relieve contractor from whatever obligation in following provisions of subparagraph in amounts and currencies equal to amount due under subclause. This guarantee shall be in a similar form to form described advance payment guarantee and be valid until plant and materials are properly stored on site and protected against loss, damage or deterioration, or relevant plant and materials are those listed in contact data for payment when delivered to site, having delivered to site and are properly stored on site, are protected against loss, damage or deterioration, and appear to be in accordance with contract. Amounts so agreed or determined shall take account of evidence and documents required under and of contract value of plant and materials. If this applies, employer shall have no obligation to make any payment under this clause until employer has received bank guarantee in accordance with above. Sum to be paid by employer to employer in an interim payment shall be equivalent or 80% of this agreed or determined amount. Currencies for this sum shall be same as those in which payment become due. When contract value is included, application of interim payment at that time, interim payment shall include applicable amount to be deducted, which shall be equivalent to and in same currencies and proportions as this additional amount for relevant plant and materials. Interim payments. No amount shall be paid to contractor. No amount shall be paid to contractor until employer has received performance security in form and issued by an entity in accordance with contractor's obligations. Contractor has appointed contractor's representative in accordance with contractor's representative, Notice of interim payment. Employer shall, within 28 days after receiving a statement and supporting documents, give a notice to contractor stating additions or deductions. Stating amount which employer fairly considers to be due for interim payment, including additions or deductions which have become due under agreement or determination or under contract or otherwise. With detailed supporting particulars, we shall identify difference between a notified amount and corresponding amount in statement and give reasons for such difference. Withholding amount on an interim payment. Withholding amounts in an interim payment. Employer may withhold an interim payment which would, after retention and other deductions, be less than minimum amount of interim payment if whatever stated in contract data. In that event, employer shall promptly give a notice to contractor accordingly. Interim payment shall not be withheld for any other reason, although if anything supplied or work done by contractor is not in accordance with contract. Estimated cost of rectification or replacement may be withheld until rectification or replacement has been completed. If contractor was or is failing to perform any work. If contractor was and is failing to perform certain work, service or obligation in accordance with contract, value of this work or obligation may be withheld until work or obligation has been performed. In this event, employer shall promptly give a notice to contractor describing failure and with detailed supporting particulars of value withheld, or employer finds certain significant error or discrepancy in statement or supporting documents. Amount of interim payment may take account of extent to which this error or discrepancy has prejudiced proper investigation of amount in statement until such error is discrepancy is corrected in a subsequent statement. For each amount so withheld in supporting particulars for interim payment, employer shall detail calculation of amount and state reasons for it being withheld. Correction or modification. Employer may in whatever interim payment make whatever correction or modification that should properly be made to whatever previous interim payment An interim payment shall not be deemed to indicate employer's acceptance, approval, consent, or notice of no objection to any contractor's document or to any part of works. If contractor considers that an interim payment does not include any amount to which contractor is entitled, these amounts shall be identified in next statement. Identified amounts in this paragraph. You can say employer shall then make correction or modification that should be properly made in next interim payment. Thereafter, to extend that contractor is not satisfied that this next interim payment includes identified amounts, and identified amounts do not concern a matter for which employer's representative is already carrying out duties under agreement or determination. Contractor may, by giving a notice, refer this matter to employer's representative under agreement and determination shall apply for purpose of time limits. Date employer's representative receives this notice shall be date of commencement of time limit for agreement payment. Employers shall pay to contractor. Employers shall pay to contractor advance payment within period stated in advance payment. Interim payment due under interim payment clause within period stated in contract data, that is, if not stated, 56 days or 8 weeks. 56 days or 8 weeks, that is, within this period you should pay, if not stated. You may state 30 days, you may state 28 days, you may state whatever number of days in fraction, you can say in fraction of 7 days a week. Here it is 8 weeks, you may say 6 weeks or 42 days. Likewise, after employer receives statement and supporting documents, final payment within period stated in contract data, otherwise 42 days. After employer receives partially agreed final statement of clause, which clause applies within 84 days, or 84 days means 12 weeks. After employer receives draft final statement that is deemed to be a partially agreed final statement. Final payment. Final payment here is a very crucial one. Final payment under final payment clause within period stated in contract data, if not stated 56 days after employer receives final statement, or if second paragraph of subclause 1413 applies, after expiry of 14 days after employer issues notice stating final payment, and receives contractor is deemed or receives discharge under discharge clause. Payment of amount due in each currency. Payment of amount due in each currency shall be made into bank account nominated by contractor in payment country for agreed currency specified in contract. Delayed payment. If contractor does not receive payment in accordance with subclause payment, contractor shall be entitled to receive financing charges compounded monthly on amount unpaid during period of delay. That is, the contractor does not receive payment in accordance with payment clause, contractor shall be entitled to receive financing charges compounded monthly on amount unpaid during period of delay, unless otherwise stated in contract data. These financing charges shall be calculated at annual rate of 3%. Average bank short term lending rate to prime borrowers prevailing for currency of payment at place of payment, or where no such rate exists at that place, same rate in country of currency of payment. In absence of such rate at either place, appropriate rate fixed by law of country or of currency of payment. Contractor shall by request be entitled to payment of these financing charges by employer. Need for contractor to submit a statement or formal notice, including requirement to comply with claims for payment, annuity, and prejudice to whatever other right or remedy. Retention money is a very different issue. We have gone through various significant talks about contracts. This talk, which relates to EPC or engineering, procurement and construction contract, has lot of significance because this is high profile contracting system, and high profile organizations only deal with such contracts with very high profile employers. You may say it's not thousands or millions, contract value be in billions. Such contracts are utilized, and it's not only EPC alone, there may be many PCs. You can say construction contractors and then subcontractors. There may be many such agencies in contracting who may be working on project on behalf of contractor and of course finally on behalf of employer. They would have their own subcontracts with main contractor EPC and all work for project, but responsibilities vary. Ultimate responsibilities go to EPC contractor, who has to share complete liability, accountability for works. Even though there are varying vendors, but responsibility finally goes to contractor, and main contract that is available or that works between employer and EPC is of utmost significance. Objective of this talk about EPC is to understand in a comprehensive manner what is done. I understand you are not going to directly join as EPC engineer. You have to learn through your life what are contracts. And learning of contracts is very easy or not, you have to see. If you have certain experience on contracts, you may know complexities of contract. It's something maybe engineers skip, but skipping is no solution. Of course, there is no mathematics involved in this. There is no physical sciences subjects involved in contracting. But contracting relates to physical activities which are scientific, which are engineering activities. Those are related to these contracts. And contracts is number one document. Contract is number one document which is legally valued, contractually valued. First sight of eyes goes to contract. This means contract is a real representative of project agreement. It really tells it's good document or bad document, it's used or abused, and whatever you can say is kind of charter given to themselves by these two parties, party one employer and party two contractor. They authorize each other for validity of or for duration of this contract and its aftermath post closure. It's therefore very important to understand what and how far contracts impact upon, and can we avoid that? That is not going to work, and that has not worked, because even if you want to avoid direct contract, you have to deal with indirect contracts. It's not easy for every engineer to arrange works self. That's not going to work, because engineer is a master of engineering, while contractor is also an engineer in sense of organization, because its organization is affected, it works, it's run by engineers. So both ways there are professionals, both ways there are engineers, in both parties there are specialized people. So you can say both parties work on professional basis. We cannot separate it accordingly. Therefore, when I say contract, it cannot be taken as non-engineering document. It's very intensive, very strong engineering document which can only be realized by engineers. Its implications, clauses, whatever is contained in this contract and package of contract documents. This can be, and particularly when engineering works are related. And in engineering works, there are all works. For example, insurance, workers' relation, workers' facilities, all other procurements and works done on site. These all cover somewhere lot of civil laws, and these civil laws can be applied only by engineers, because it is different type of world where so much work is done without any paper basis, and everything cannot be related to documentation. Certain low profile works are done free of documents, just by instructions, or you can say abiding by good industrial practice. Engineering role is very high. Actually, it is engineering role. If you relate documents to contracts, it's called contract engineering. It's called prosecution engineering. And if there are disputes which are generated or which come up, these are resolved by certain engineering professionals. It could be engineer itself, it could be DAAB, that is Disputes Adjudication and Avoidance Board, or it can be legally processed and appointed arbitrator. All these should be engineers because they understand engineering, and we can say there can be contract engineers, there can be DAB engineers, there can be arbitration engineers. They are all engineers. If you do not use engineers on this, you cannot realize project. Engineer contract, engineer DAB, and engineer arbitration. If we give them responsibility, you can say that public shall benefit, and you bring non-engineering professionals into this domain, you shall suffer on every account, because spirit of contract can be realized only by those who have long experience in engineering field of design and construction. That is what is required. Engineering means engineers, not otherwise. Appointing those who do not have engineering basis, it's waste of time, because just law will not help. Personal approach, initiative, involvement come to give you lot which otherwise you cannot get. Therefore, it's very important point. We have to realize, we have to understand what is meaning of that. Otherwise, you cannot say anything else. Just a minute, please. So we have to understand here role of engineer is very important in fact. Now, if you understand this point, contracts in a different way. Contracts are different. It is a very, means everybody, if you come in field and try to enjoy this, you have to learn it first of all. Learning is very important part of contracts. If you cannot learn it thoroughly, and assertion of employer's liability in currency of payment. Likewise, termination by employer, where we see termination by employer or how does work. So we have to see so many issues here that cannot be just completed without understanding thoroughly what are contracts. It's really sometimes surprising, sometimes very powerful, and sometimes we think nothing is happening. That should not happen. As I said, title is always there, which can be altered. हमेशा हम जो कह रहे हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स के बारे में वो इतना हर एक को समझ नहीं आता है और कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स हर एक के बस का भी नहीं है. Every engineer cannot handle contracts. Only those who can enter into documents, who don't shy away from documents, who have good technical skill, who got communication skills, and if you lack in communication skills, you have to learn. I'm not saying you learn grammar or translation or parts of speech. You learn, intention. You learn what you say must be explicitly understood by other party, and what other party communicates must be with you in clear fashion. Both parties cannot sit always to communicate. It's only communication that through papers or through writings or through whatever means you think you can be successful in communication, and by communication in coordination you can achieve something. Sometimes in absence of right information, in absence of, you can say, right approach, or in absence of non-coordination phase, you can say, where decision has not been made but it's ongoing until coordination is completed. And again I say, coordination is a kind of artificial weapon in construction and in designs. Lack of coordination is root of many problems that should be resolved at every step. And it is also very important part, not only technical but contractual as well. I'm not blaming, I don't want to blame either one. It may be employer or contractor or engineer. Huge volumes of documents. It's not contract alone, it's not contract form alone. It is all drawings, all philosophies, feed, all specifications and contract conditions, and all technical and non-technical activities that are involved on contract. It's not easy. It's a kind of different world of combination of engineering, combination of non-engineering and laws and industrial practice that lead to successful execution of contract. That is very much important part, and sometimes it takes decades to understand what contract is all about. Important part is one should understand. Without going into in-depth studies of contract, and that too by experience, by technical work involvement, by weaving through circumstances, by weaving through documents, And by doing everything that is required to be done, only then contract and engineering can be correlated and understood. It's not part of law that is insurance. This is ticket. This is civil law like divorce, or this is criminal act. It imports few like workers' relation, workers' laws, insurances, medical safety, and work. Or you can say foreign elements like customs, taxes, etc. etc. But important point is essence of contract, which says do work and get paid. That's it. Essence of design is plan, do, check, act. And essence of employer is spend money on promotion and get operation done and profit. This is what contract is, but language is not an issue. Analysis, of course, is an issue. We should not have undue clauses in whatever contract. We should be straightforward because engineering does not go through bends or through different grades. It's clear cut that you are going to be paid the work for me. And that's it. Either engineer does itself, or employer does itself, or contract does itself. All have to grow, all have to go through same route. There is no other route. It is science of contract, it is engineering of contract, and it is something different that must be cared for. And with this, I take your leave for today. थैंक यू वेरी मच. आप सबका धन्यवाद आपने दिया. सोचता हूँ कि आपको कुछ अच्छा लग रहा होगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच.